Welcome back to Titan Tigers 5-star edition, your favorite segment of the show. Chance helped me out last week with the movies. It's back to your regular production now. And, maybe one week Chance will try to do it himself. I think that would be fun. This is a great segment. Brings back a lot of good memories. But this week we're going to mix it up a little bit. Number one, we're going to talk about with the hockey going on and the Frozen Four or the four, I guess, let me see exactly what they called it. The Four Nations Championship, It really brought together back so much of the goodwill games of the Mighty Ducks and the countries getting together, which made me think, what are the 5 best events in sports? If there's one event you could go to, maybe watch the whole thing through or whatever the case may be, what are my 5 best events in sports? So we're going to start off with number 5. Number 5 is the college football playoff. I'm not ranking even any higher because I still think college football is the best sport, but it still hasn't gotten that. They haven't got it fixed yet. They went to 12 teams this year. Until they really get the system fixed, they're not going to go any higher on my list, so I have them at number 5. Number 4 is the World Series. The luster of the World Series has really been down lately. Back up this year with the Yankees and the Dodgers playing. I think it really matters the teams in the World Series. You can't have the Diamondbacks playing some no-name team. You're not going to get the lure. It needs to be big-time markets, big-time teams, and when it is, it's the most special. It's America's pastime. So the World Series I have at number 4. Number 3, the World Cup. I'm not even a soccer guy, and when the World Cup is on, I watch almost every match. It's amazing how much I get into it. Even though the USA is never even relevant, I just think the drama, the fans, the whole production of it, the World Cup does more viewers than any sport, and it's not even close. They do billions of viewers, but again, it's one of the most special times, and it's only every 4 years, kind of like the Olympics. And that would be, you know what, screw it. College football playoff, you're out. I'm going to put Olympics at 5. Summer Olympics, not Winter Olympics. So I'm kicking college football out because they haven't got their thing together. So I'm going to put Summer Olympics at 5 because I do enjoy the Olympics. I think that's a pretty cool thing. But World Cup's my number 3. Number 2, Super Bowl. Super Bowl is the most watched game ever, every year. From the halftime performances to the game, been a lot of good games of recent lately. This year's game was kind of a bummer, the game-wise of it, but everybody watches the Super Bowl. It's the ending of the football season. It's kind of the worst time of the year too, because again, it wouldn't be number 1, but then you realize there's no more football anymore. Number 1 coming up, March Madness. There is nothing that beats March Madness. Chance can remember being in 7th, 8th grade, TV's on at the school, you get that 10 o'clock game start, and you're watching from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night. Crazy games, college kids playing possibly the last game of their careers, giving it there's nothing more pure about sports in a game that literally you can just have a bad night shooting and anybody can beat anybody. There is nothing like that. The college football playoff, you'll see, most of the time, the better teams are going to win. Even though we got upsets this year, there were still powerhouse teams that made it to the championship. March Madness, Virginia, VCU can make a run like they've done in the past. Gonzaga's made themselves of their names when we were younger, and now they're a powerhouse school. But so many different teams over the years have had these upsets, from Butler to whoever you want to name. March Madness is the greatest time of the year. And like I said, I can't wait to see it this year. I think the playing field's even more than it has ever been. I know Duke and Auburn, of course, and Alabama and Florida are going to be some of your favorites, but this is the most exciting competition. Next thing, I don't know if you saw Kirby Smart's comment on Johnny Manziel. He had a list up of Bryce Young, Cam Newton, Johnny Manziel, and I believe Joe Burrow. And what do these players all have in common? And everybody shot a Heisman Trophy winner. He said, yes, national championships. And he said, oh, Johnny Manziel, national championship? Yeah, the national championship of Fireball, maybe. And, of course, everybody laughed. It was kind of a dig by Kirby, but he did go back and say these 4 guys actually have given our defense the most trouble and why. But had me thinking, who are the 5 bad boys of sports that everybody just really hated, and they did what they wanted to, and there was nothing you could do about them because they were still so good, but fans just despise? crazy. Almost like the Duke one we did earlier, but who were the 5 guys that really got under people's skins, but there was nothing you could really do because they were so good? Number 5, Joakim Noah from Florida. The long hair, the ponytail, everybody said he was ugly or whatever the case may be. Noah, back-to-back championships at Florida. People hated him. The first year he came up, they liked him because it was a new, cool story. By the time he got to his junior year, people hated Joakim Noah. Number 4, the Boz, Brian Bosworth. The guy's still doing Dr. Pepper commercials for the college football playoff, but the Boz, whether it was the haircut, his attitude, people did not like the Boz, but what a linebacker he was. Number 3, Marshall Henderson for Ole Miss. If you ever remember Marshall throwing the shirts up against Auburn, all them flicking him off, him doing the gator chomp, he was literally the most hated basketball player I've seen in a long time. And one of the best SEC players, could knock it down from anywhere. But man, people hated Marshall, but there was nothing you could do because he was usually sticking it to your team that year. Number 2, Cam Newton. Him shushing Bama Stadium. Cam Newton, I've never seen more people hate one player than that year that Cam Newton played for Alabama. I remember hearing somebody scream one time, and he can catch the ball, when he caught it at receiver one game, and the Cam back when Alabama, people hated this guy, and they dug and dug for information. He's cheating, his dad's getting paid, everything, because he was so good, and there was nothing you could do about it, and he was cocky and Superman and everything. People hated Cam Newton. And again, he was an unbelievable player, but I don't recall there being much hate as there was for the bad boy that was Johnny Manziel. Johnny, I think he had more of a following, as much hate as he got, but still, all the teams hated him because they wanted him as their quarterback because he was the definition of cool, the definition of just, I'd love to, how much money would Johnny be worth, Chance, in NIL these days? $15 million?
Texas A&M has money.
That's what I'm saying. $15 million?
I think, again, it would have been the early years of it. He probably would have been like an arch. He would have been right at about the $5 million.
There ain't no. Manziel was the hottest thing going. And remember, name a college player that was with LeBron and Dre. There hadn't been a player like him that was. Tebow was popular in a different way, but a bad boy type persona like Johnny had.
Do you think that might be some reason as why there isn't anymore, because they realized they put a player like Johnny in a bad situation and caused him to give up?
Maybe so. And you saw Luka. We just talked. He didn't have a bad boy image, but just a couple of little images that teams don't like cost him a lot of money. But Johnny was the definition of bad guy, bad boy, and dominating, and there was nothing you could do about it, and it was a fun ride when it was. Somebody's going to come along like him soon, or like Tebow, and that's when I'm going to really be interested in NIL money, and that's when you're actually, most of these guys are 5-star guys. We need somebody like that they draw eyes every game you're going to watch because you want to see what happens, whether his reactions to big plays or whether him just making a great play. Great plays happen here. 5-star.